Good evening, Marshall Reddick investors. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the webinar going over how to use our property financial calculator. My name is Garrett Stason, and I will be co-hosting along with my colleague Scott Pastel, who will join us later on during the presentation. So we look forward to informing you tonight on the benefits and the importance of using the best financial calculator for you. And let's dig into it. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Marshall Reddick already, first and foremost, we are a licensed California real estate broker. We help clients on a daily basis buy and sell within the state of California, whether that be their primary home or if they're looking for an investment property. Along with that, outside of California, we have an extended network of real estate professionals in our other 10 markets that fit our criteria. And secondly, we are a private money lender, and then along with that, a property manager as well. So the big part is in the section below. So we feel that real estate is a team sport, and what I mean by that is you need all the necessary players in order to have a successful team. So along with just us here at Marshall Reddick, we want to get you involved and get you in touch with the necessary people in order to make your investing a successful one. So that includes getting you in touch with our realtors out in those specific areas, our direct lenders, property managers, insurance agents, CPAs, and tax professionals. So making sure you're involved with the right team is a necessary step going forward. Just a little bit about myself here, so you have an idea of who's talking. I am a licensed real estate agent and realtor within California. I graduated from Arizona with a degree in economics, and my big involvement or my big start within real estate was because of family. So I have uncles who are doing uncle who's doing private money lending, and then I have had grandparents in the past buy and sell homes as a realtor. So hearing stories growing up and kind of just seeing that firsthand was a big factor in my decision to make the switch over to real estate and join the Marshall Reddick team. Before this, I was a financial advisor and helping clients on a daily basis put together a plan, figuring out their needs, whether that be for retirement, for college, for the purchase of a home. So it's the exact same thing that I was doing over there that I'm doing over here at Marshall Reddick. This being a numbers-specific or numbers-driven webinar, I'm very excited to dig into it with you guys because I'm a big numbers guy. If the numbers make sense, that's what I'm about and what you guys should be worried about as well. And then when I'm not working, so pretty much Sundays only, I like to be outside, snowboard, golf, and surf. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you our VP here at Marshall Reddick, Scott Pastel. Some of you may know him already, and he's been with Marshall Reddick for 11 years and has had a lot of involvement implementing this calculator, and now would like to show you the details and the nit and grit of how to use it. So take it away, Scott.
Absolutely, Garrett. I'm pleased to have the pleasure to show you folks all of the details about our property financial calculator located on our website, marshallreddick.com. As Garrett said, it's probably our most valuable asset as a company, among many others. I mean, we've spent years developing this calculator, and as investors ourselves, myself, my partner Ross Nelson, and some of our advisors really just found a lack of the proper tools out there, short of using some Excel spreadsheets that we put together ourselves. We noticed that at the time several years ago, everybody kind of had their own Excel pro forma, cocktail napkin, or however they put together their financial analysis. That really there was no uniformed structure within using a financial calculator, and there was a lot of confusion among our clients about what should be included in it and what percentages should be used for estimates. And so several years ago, we started developing this financial calculator And through our full-time web developer, Brian Hahn, it took about a year and a half to develop, and since we launched it on our website, we've just been constantly fine-tuning and improving it. So I'm sure some of you guys may have started using it already, and I'm excited to show you some tools and some functions that you might not have been familiar with yet. So I'm going to exit out of PowerPoint and go to our website. And the very first thing when you're on MarshallReddick.com is to make sure that you're logged in. And if you don't have an account yet, you'll see a button up here that says Create Account. Only takes probably 20 seconds. You enter in your name, email, and that's about it. And that'll allow you to access all the tools and resources for free on our website. There's no paid subscription. There's no upsells on our website. This is just to give you a personalized view and to be able to save and store properties and to basically manage your own account directly on our website. So once you're logged in, you'll see your name up there. And then to get the financial calculator, there's two different ways. I'm going to show you the first way, and then later towards the end of the presentation, I'll show you how to get a blank calculator. But for now, I'm going to pull up a couple properties on our website. So when I hover my cursor over to Invest, I'm going to click on Properties here. Just get rid of this down here. And sorry, folks. I'm just going to get rid of my toolbar really quick. Apologize for that. There we go. Looks a little cleaner now. Okay. So when you're on the Invest tab and you click on Properties, you're going to be taken to our property page. You'll notice here on the top right currently says that we're looking at 1 through 15 of 1,809 results. That is a lot of property. And what's very useful are all the filters that we have up here at the very top. So if you've ever used Zillow or websites like that that allow you to filter the properties you're looking for, it's very similar, very user-friendly, a lot of different categories to choose from, and it's all built around investment property. Also one of the first things you'll notice when you look at properties on our website is that properties have a rating. You'll see A class, B class, C class properties. So what does that mean, first of all? When you click on a property rating, you'll have this property class scale which explains the difference between luxury A, B, C, and D properties. One thing to know right off the bat is neither is better or worse than the other. It just depends on what your investment goals are. So you'll see the differences between property classes, and you can also read more in our free digital ebook. So if you click this link here, it'll open up the Reddick Property Rating ebook, 38 pages, maybe a 30 to 45-minute read. And if you're new to real estate investing or you feel like you still need to gain more knowledge, I highly recommend reading this ebook. It goes into a lot of detail about how to select the best investments that fit you, fit your financial goals, fit your experience, fit the amount of money you have, fit your risk tolerance. All of these different financial components go into the types of properties that fit you best. So that's a great way to understand property classes a little bit better. So if I go back up to the top here, you can also get that ebook by clicking on this button right here on the right. So let's look at the filters here for a minute. We have some kind of like default filters here at the top. We can choose the market. We can choose the status. So we can look at, right now we're looking at all properties that cover all filters. So if we want, we can filter based on available properties. So let's just say we don't want to see contracted or sold, we only want to see available. And then up pops up all the available properties that are currently available for sale. We can search based on how much money we have to invest. We can search based on the price of properties. We can search based on property type, whether it be single family, duplex to fourplex, and then apartment buildings. We can search based on our purchase method. And then on the right here, we have all these other filters. So if I open that up, you'll see a lot of property details. So if you have any criteria based on the year of properties built, let's say you want to look at homes that are built 2000 or newer, type that in, and it's in real time, and it tells us how many properties here on the top left fit our filter. I open that again. A lot of different filters to choose from. We can filter based on property class. We can filter all these different components here. We can filter based on cash-on-cash return, return on investment. So I want you to be aware, each time you type something in the field, it'll auto-populate. So if you want to run a new search, then you want to make sure that you hit the clear button here on the top right. So right now I have filtered, it looks like based on year built. So I want to clear that. And the only filter that I have right now is the status. So I have just only available properties, and it's showing me right now there's 88 available. So now how are these ordered? The way our properties are ordered that are listed on our website default to the date added. So at the very top here we have the most recent property that was added today. We keep going down and we'll see properties that were, a lot of properties being added. One yesterday, one the day before. So let me show you how this sort button works here on the top right where we see sort. So if I click on sort, I can decide how I want those 88 properties to appear on the website. And I can sort based on highest or lowest for any one of these. So if I click year built, I'm going to see the newest properties on our website. And I can see that here. It says year built 2016. Thank you. What I'd actually like to sort based on right now is highest cash-on-cash return. By the way, if you click it again, it'll sort it by the lowest. But obviously we don't want low cash-on-cash return, so we're going to click it again. And now I'm looking at still 88 properties, but they're sorted based on the highest cash-on-cash return. So we have one here in Cordova, Tennessee, part of the Memphis market, listed for $239,000. I can see right here it was added on October 9th, and it's showing me the cash-on-cash return annually is 7.57%. We have one below it, and this property is actually a duplex. And I'll be able to, I know that because I know this property in detail, but when I click on it and figure out more information, it will show me the property type. So I'm going to use these two properties to show you exactly how the calculator works. Right before I do that, though, I do want to show you what this personalized display field does. So I've actually customized which data I see on this summary view here. So I can decide what data I want to show up if I click on personalized display, and I can deselect or select any of these components. So you may want to make sure that you have things like date added, market, status. I would probably make your screen look just like mine because I believe that this is all very important information here. Annual HOAs, we can click on the property and find out more information. But when I'm just skimming through properties, these are the things that I like to see. So if you customize this, you want to make sure you hit save, and then it'll change what shows up here in this summary view. One more thing I want to show you is down here. If you're searching for properties on our website and you're using the filters and you're just not finding what you're looking for, you can click this button and you can type in what information, what types of properties and what markets or what price ranges or what returns you're looking for, and then an email will be generated to one of our real estate advisors who will be able to contact you and help you find exactly what you're looking for. You're not limited to the properties on our website when you work with Marshall Reddick. These are just properties that fit our criteria that our teams in each market are uploading, but they're always finding new properties. So if you can't find what you're looking for, you can use that button right down here. All right, now let's get into the calculator. So once you actually click on a property, so I'll click this Memphis property. Now we're on the property page, and the first thing we see are the photos, and we can see here that there's actually 31 photos of this particular property. If I want to expand the photos, I can click expand right here, and then it'll show me all the, a summary of the photos below it. Can keep scrolling through and looking at the photos. I can also click on this map here, and it's actually a plugin from Google Maps, and the marker is where the property is located. I can zoom in a little further, or I can zoom out and see where this property is located within the Memphis market. If I want, I can actually even do a street view. So I click and drag the little guy here and I place it directly on the marker. And it will take me to the neighborhood. So I can find out a little bit more about the area of where the property is located. And if I want to go back, I'll click the compress button up here. Takes me right back to the property. If I want to go back to the photos, I'll click Photos right down here. All right. You can share properties on social media or email a friend if you like a property or you want to send it to your own email. Down here below, you've got a few different buttons. If you know that this is a property that you're really interested in and you want to talk to one of our advisors about it, you can click either one of these buttons and an advisor will be notified to contact you, give you more information or answer any questions you have. You can also print any property you'd like by clicking the Print to PDF button. And you just select your purchase method, whether you're looking at cash, conventional, or private financing. And the property will actually open up in a new tab where you can print it, and it'll look like this. So it takes out all the pertinent information on the property, puts it together in just a really nice flyer type format. Let's go back to the property here, close out of this. So now we have right under the buttons some of the main details, telling us that it's actually considered a luxury class property. It's vacant, price is $239,000, built in 1974, a 5-bed, 3-bath, big home, 3,600 square feet, gives us the dollar per square foot and the lot size. Also a nice little description about the property. This one was actually renovated. It's completely rent ready. Doesn't need any money put into it from an investor to purchase. It's completely rent ready. One of the things we'll notice under the description are the school district ratings. That comes directly from greatschools.org. And the way that this works is these are actually the nearest schools. These are not segmented by schools within that school district. School districts and schools change quite often. The schools listed are based on the distance from the property. Basically, it's just that very hard to get data because it's constantly changing across the U.S. We are in the process of having this updated in real time for the assigned schools, but for now we're looking at the nearest ones. We can also click More Nearby Schools to look at school district ratings on other other schools, and we can even click the school to find out more information. Tells us if it's public or private, the distance to the property. Pretty helpful if school district ratings are important to you. Below schools is the market history. So now this graph is data that comes from the National Association of Realtors, and we're looking at the Memphis market as a metropolitan market. And what we see are median home prices from 1989 all the way to 2015 of the Memphis market as a metropolitan. We can hover our cursor to any year, and it will give us the median home price in that year. So on the average, the Memphis market has appreciated 2.06% a year since 1989. Now, you can get the year-over-year median home price on this graph, but if you keep scrolling down, you'll see the table that corresponds with the graph above. If we go a little bit further, we're going to see the Reddick property rating scale. So what this says is at the end of 2015, the median home price in Memphis was $147,000. And if you're familiar with the Reddick property rating scale, then you'll know that an A-class property is a property that's worth the median home price all the way up to 1.3 times the median. Since this property is worth $239,000, it's actually considered a luxury class property. Pretty neat, right? It's very different for us here in Orange County, California. But yeah, on any scale, you'll have the house on the scale, and it'll tell you exactly what the property rating is. Now we get down to the financials. So here we're getting into the nitty-gritty finally, and what we'll see here is a financial summary, and then below it, a calculator. So I'm going to start off by looking at this property based on conventional financing. You see we have 3 different options here. We can look at it on conventional, cash, or private financing. Now this summary page can also be customized. If I click Personalized Summary, I can decide which financial fields I want to see in my summary, and I just want to hit Save. So I've decided that these are the main components that I want to see before I jump into the calculator below it. So we can see the list price, the investment capital needed and that's going to be based on the down payment that we see below. So the investment capital of $66,000 is basically the down payment here plus the estimated closing costs right below it, which comes out to $66,000. I can even change the down payment if I want based on, let's say, 20% or 30%, and the numbers change with it. So let's get into the calculator now. First of all, you'll notice a lot of function symbols, a lot of pie charts. If you're not sure what these symbols mean, you can click View Symbol Definitions, and it'll give you the basic definition of each, don't want that, of each definition on our website. All right, so I'm going to hide the symbol definitions here. Right now, I've got this, you see this button that says Annual. So all of the numbers that I'm looking at based on the rents and the expenses are all annualized. But if I click Annual, it's going to change all of the monthly numbers, all the annual numbers back to monthly. So let's start off looking at this property on a monthly basis. So we've got the price, the down payment, initial repair costs, which means how much money does the buyer need to put into it to place a tenant, which, as I mentioned, this is a turnkey property. We get this question a lot, is how are these closing costs calculated? Now this is purely an estimate because closing costs include any loan origination fees that go to your lender, any processing and underwriting fees that you would need to pay for the loan, a home inspection, an appraisal, title and escrow fees. Now that's all going to change based on down payment, based on your credit score, based on which lender you use, based on the loan amount. So we estimate it with our algorithm, and if you click on the function symbol here, you'll be able to see how we calculate closing costs. Again, it's purely an estimate, but it's based on the loan amount. So right here below, based on 20% down, we're looking at a $191,000 loan amount. So that fits in right here at 4%. So if we take 4% and multiply it by the loan amount, that's exactly how we're getting this number right here. Let's go a little further down. Now the interest rate is actually defaulted to the interest rate that our direct lenders at AmeriFirst Financial give us. So every 2 weeks we get an updated interest rate based on loan amounts and based on property types. And the most recent interest rate quoted to us, this was, I think, at a $125,000 loan amount and up at 25% down. So we're going to go back to that. It's 4%. You can modify your interest rate. If you're quoted a different interest rate from your lender, you can adjust it to fit your own personal situation. Let's go back to 4%. If you're one of the few investors that wants to pay off your loan in 15 years, you can remove 30-year and put in a 15-year amortized loan. Personally, I like 30-year loans. The loan amounts are lower and you have more time to pay them off. You notice every time that I'm editing information, all the financials are adjusting along with it. I want to show you this pie chart, which I think is pretty helpful. We can see here, based on 25% down and a 4% interest rate, our monthly mortgage payment with principal and interest is $855 a month. Now, what's really cool, if you click this pie chart, we have a mortgage amortization schedule. So we can see every year how much we're paying in principal and how much we're paying in interest. So we're going to be paying, of course, a lot of interest, mainly interest, those first 10 years or so, until around the 14th year where we start paying more principal than interest. But it's really neat, and these numbers change as you change the interest rates and down payments. You'll be able to see exactly how much you're paying in principal and interest each year. So the rental comps on this property conservatively came out to $2,250 a month. Our property managers in each market run a rental market analysis to determine fair market values of the properties on our website. So typically they get a range of maybe $50 or $100, and we always put the lowest on the website. Under promise and over deliver is our motto. So we've got the estimated rent here, which we can also adjust if we need to. Now we look at vacancy. So because this is a luxury class property, and you'll read in the Reddick Rating ebook that all A-class and luxury class properties have an 8% estimated vacancy rate. You'll also see that the B-class properties have a 10% estimated maintenance and vacancy, and C-class properties have a 13% estimated vacancy and maintenance. So we're looking at our effective gross income here. We can see exactly how that was calculated. Rent minus vacancy. Close out of this. So as we keep going down here, effective gross income is going to be really the dollars in our pocket, because we're going to have vacancy, and we're estimating an 8% vacancy rate on luxury properties. Comes out to an average of 29 days a year. So what we're saying is, on a yearly basis, if I hit annual, on a yearly basis, this is actually how much we're going to receive in rental income. That just doesn't want to go away. All right. So I'm going to hide that function symbol there. And now we're looking at our operating expenses. So we can see that the county taxes on this property right now currently are about $3,560 a month. Our insurance agent, a year, thank you. Our insurance agent gives us a quote for individual properties, and he's quoted this property to be about $800 a year to insure for landlord insurance. And then again, we have estimated maintenance, so you can hover your cursor over that to help you figure out exactly where that comes from. We have a management fee on here. The management fee provided is actually the management fee that our property manager charges in that particular market. And you'll notice the way that the management fee is calculated is rent minus vacancy. So it's going to be this number right here, effective gross income. Let me get back to monthly. To determine how much we're going to pay in a management fee, we have to deduct a vacancy, because we're not paying a management fee during a vacancy. You only pay a management fee when you have a rented property. So it's rent minus vacancy, which is this number here, times the, or it's the rent minus the vacancy times the management fee. So that comes out to $186 a month. And again, some of these numbers like maintenance and vacancy are not actually paying every month. You will be paying a management fee while you have a rented property. You, of course, will be paying taxes twice a year and insurance once a year. You can have your lender impound those expenses so that you're paying into your taxes and insurance each month, so you don't have to worry about making those payments on your own. A leasing fee is a fee that a property manager is going to charge you to procure a new tenant. That's a one-time fee every time that they place a new tenant. How often is that going to happen? Who knows? So we have to make sure as an investor that we're conservative in estimating how often we have to pay a leasing fee. You'll notice, if you hover your cursor, that we estimate every 18 months on average that you'll pay a leasing fee for the life of that property. We're looking at properties on our website based on about a 15-year hold. And as I get further down the calculator, you can actually change that number. But when you own a rental property for a 10 to 15-year period, you'll have some tenants stay for 1 year, some tenants stay for 2, maybe some stay for 3. So if we take an 18-month average, what we're doing is saying the property manager charges 50% of 1 month's rent. That's going to be half of $22.50. And if we multiply, or if we divide that number by 18, that's how we get $62.50. So we're not paying this every month, right? We're only paying that every time we place a new tenant. But we want to look at our financials on a monthly or a yearly basis. That's exactly how we're going to do it. So no HOAs, tenants pay utilities and landscaping. We're looking at total operating expenses of $792 a month on average. And we can even click this pie chart to see the percentage of expenses in each category. So as we go down a little bit further, we're looking at our net operating income, which is going to be our effective gross income minus our debt service. Debt service is your principal and interest payment, minus our operating expenses, to give us net operating income, or a net cash flow, of about $422 a month. Now that includes the maintenance and vacancy. So some of you are saying, well, I want to know how much cash flow I'm going to be making each month when I don't have any maintenance and I have a rented property. In order to do that, you would just scroll back up here. You'd put 0 in the vacancy field, 0 in the maintenance field, and 0 in the leasing fee field. And this is what your property is going to look like on a regular monthly average. That's what you would be making when you have a rented property without any maintenance. So on most months, you're going to be making about $828 a month in net positive cash flow on this property. But if we want to look at that long-term average again, by the way, you can reset the financials if you scroll all the way to the top and click reset. It'll go right back to where we were before. We've got function symbols to figure out how cash flow is calculated. We can see what the cash flow is going to look like on a monthly basis year over year. Finally, we're looking at our return on investment section. So we take the the annual average appreciation rate from the National Association of Realtors, which was about 2%. We adjust it slightly just to make it a little more conservative, and the website's going to default to a 15-year hold. If you plan on holding a property for 5 years or 7 years, then you can see what all these numbers look like. But basically, you're looking at how much cash flow you're going to make over the life of the property, how much appreciation we're going to make over the life of the property, how much the balance of our loan is going to reduce over a 7-year period, and what we're going to have to pay when we sell that property. So let's go back to a 15-year view. So if we hold this property for 15 years, we're looking to make about almost $76,000 in accumulated cash flow, and that does not include any rent increases. Our website does not include rent increases, and we've decided to do that based on an executive decision that Ross and I made, because we want to see what a property looks like and how it performs right now without any hopes and prayers that the rents are going to go up over time. We really can't find any reliable data like you see at the top from the National Association of Realtors on home values, and we really don't want to guess. So if we can't find reliable data, we're not going to include it. So we're looking at how much cash flow we're going to make if the rents don't increase, how much we're going to make in appreciation over a 15-year period at about a 1.9% annual appreciation increase. And with the built-in mortgage calculator, we're looking at how much the balance of the loan will decrease over a 15-year period. So we made money here, we made money here, and we made money here. When we sell a property, you're gonna pay anywhere from probably about 6 to 9% of the future value of that property. So if we take the appreciation that we make and we add it to the price of the property, which was $239,000, we're going to get the future estimated value. And if we multiply that number by 9%, that's where these estimated selling expenses come from. The reason we do 9%, you'll see, is you're going to pay your listing agent 3%, you'll pay the buyer's agent 3%, and then you want to estimate as much as 3% towards your closing costs. You're going to have some title and escrow fees. You might have to spend a little bit of money to fix the property up. So we estimate these at 9%. Now we're looking at the bottom line. These three fields here are the complete bottom line. What profit are we going to make depending on how long we hold the property, which will change. Obviously, the longer we hold it, the more we're making in cash flow and appreciation and principal pay down. So if we hold this property for 15 years, we're looking at about almost $190,000 of profit. We're looking at an average annual cash-on-cash return of 7.5% and an annual return on investment of about 18%. So I highly suggest clicking on these function symbols here to figure out how these numbers are calculated. You'll see cash flow plus appreciation plus principal pay down minus expenses is how we get profit. You'll see exactly how cash-on-cash return is calculated, and you'll see how annual return on investment is calculated. And you'll see we even have estimated annual depreciation for the property over 27.5 years for a residential property. And you can decide how much you want in cash reserves. Website's going to default to 6 months of cash reserves. And if you click the function symbol, it'll tell you what are cash reserves and how that number is calculated. So I'm going to show you one more property. I'm not going to go into all the same details I just did, but I'm going to go back to the property page, which I just clicked on properties, And we're going to look at a very different property. It's a C-class property in the Cape Coral Lehigh Acres market of Florida. And this property, as I mentioned, is actually a duplex. Very similar, right? We've got all our photos. We've got the map. We've got the price. Now, this is actually a duplex built in 2004 for $160,000. Incredible price for a 12-year-old duplex. And you can see it's a duplex right here. So it gives us the full bed and bath. Below it, on any multi-unit, you're going to see the unit mix. So we'll be able to see both of these units are rented, 2-bed, 2-bath each, identical units, renting for $900 a month. So school districts, in this particular market, school district ratings are a little higher. By the way, you can also click on the right these arrows, and it'll minimize or maximize any of the fields you want to see. So now this data is on the Cape Coral Fort Myers market. Very, very different. Florida, kind of looked a lot like California or Phoenix, with a lot of ups and downs. Same data source, National Association of Realtors. Same table, but different data, obviously. And we go down to the Reddick property rating scale. We can see this property here fits into the C-class category. Because it's a duplex, we're looking at the value of $160,000 plus the $5,000 of fix-up. I didn't show you that, but if we look at the calculator a little bit lower, pardon me for moving around here. If I open the calculator, this property actually needs $5,000 of fix-up, which will take the value somewhere around $165,000. So if that's split in half, and each unit's worth about $82,500, that's why it's determining this property as a C-class property. So really, I think that's kind of all the tools I wanted to show you on the calculator. And I mentioned in the beginning I was going to show you where to find the blank calculator. If you go to the Learn tab and then click on Education, and then click on Calculators here on the left, you have two very, very helpful calculators that will see all the market appreciation for every single market we're in. But if you click on Property Financial Calculator, you're taken to a blank calculator. So if you have other properties that you want to look at, you can type in all the information here directly into the calculator. You have the same ability. You can download, you can save as a PDF, and you can print the calculator. You can look at it based on cash purchase, or you can look at it based on our private financing options. These are actually our in-house private financing products that we offer to people who can't get conventional financing. Let's see. So we're coming down to the wire here. I've got Garrett who wants to mention a couple more things, and then we'll wrap up.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Scott. I always love when he does those presentations because I feel like the financial calculator is such a huge, huge component in people's decision making. So just wanted to go over with those, again, not familiar with Marshall Reddick and those of you who have not worked with an advisor like myself. Just here's an overview of what I do on a daily basis, which is a huge benefit to you. First and foremost, we do not charge for consultations. We believe that you should put your money into the property, your hard-earned money, where it belongs, and not pay us. The way we get paid, the way I get paid, is just through a referral fee through our realtors in each of our markets. So going down the list here, the big factor, what I go through with clients on a daily basis are all these questions, right? The who, what, when, where, why, and how. This is going to determine, if we're a good fit for helping you find the best property and finding out what location, how we're going to finance it, stuff like that. So going through these questions here, why? What is driving you behind the purchase of real estate? Is most of the times the people I work with, it's I need to save for their children's college education. I need to save more for retirement. I am approaching retirement. I need to supplement my income, which I'm going to be losing, my salary. So there's a bunch of different reasons of why people invest, but what is it that's specific to you and why you're investing? How are you going to invest? So, can you qualify for conventional investing or conventional financing? If not, what are your other options? I help you determine your other options, whether it be private financing, whether that be the funds are coming from a 401k, whether you're planning on or have the idea of doing a 1031 exchange. So how are you going to be evaluating or funding your investment property purchase? When? Deciding a time frame kind of ties into the why as far as how determined you are and what is it that we're trying to achieve. So is it right away? Is it in 3 months? Is it in 6 months? Is it 2 years from now? It doesn't matter as long as you're getting the right information and as long as you and I have an open communication. That's all that matters with our relationship. So what? I think this is the most important part of sitting down and talking to a financial advisor. So what is it that's most important to you? Starting with property class, what kind of property class is most important to you? Is it an A-class property? Are you looking for an appreciation type property? Is it a B-class property? Is it a C-class property? What makes the most sense for you in your financial decision? What price point? What can you not only what you can afford, but are you comfortable with that? So figuring out what your options are as far as what your price point is. What type of property? Are you looking for a single family? Are you looking for a duplex, triplex, or fourplex? What is it that is going to make the most sense for you and your family? Condition of the property. Are you looking for new builds? Or are you looking for turnkey properties? So a lot of factors go into the what. So that's a big part which I like to take a step back with clients and really hone in on each time. Where we figure out where once we have the criteria set. So what market are we investing in? Is it in California, if that makes the most sense? Is it in Florida? Is it in Memphis? Where is it that makes the most sense for us? And then who? So as I mentioned earlier, the team player aspect. So getting you in touch with the right people. First getting you in touch with our realtors in those specific markets, kind of holding your hand along the entire process, getting you in touch with our mortgage lenders, then getting you in touch with our property managers, insurance agents, and CPA tax advisors. So going through this entire process isn't going to happen overnight, right? So it's not something that you and I have a conversation with and then the next day you purchase properties. It's going to take some time, multiple phone calls, multiple emails, questions through email and all that, which is going to make sure that you're taking the best and necessary steps to achieve your goals. So lastly, if you have any questions regarding not just tonight's webinar, but Marshall Reddick in general, or just real estate in general, I'd love to talk to you, go over those questions, and make sure you're getting the right information. Here's all my contact information. You can call me, email me. I'm available pretty much any time of the day, so don't feel bad if you're calling or emailing me late at night or early in the morning. So love to talk to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I hope you all learned quite a bit and actually have some more questions for me. So have a great night, and we'll hopefully see you guys soon.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate you all being on the webinar. And as Garrett mentioned, if you have questions about the calculator, if you're not sure how something works, you can reach out directly to Garrett, and he'll walk you through the calculator in detail. If you're looking at properties and you're just not sure which properties are right for you, Garrett's there to walk you through that why, how, what, when, where, and who. And really, as an advisor, his role is to hold your hand through that entire process to help you navigate through all of the steps that might be unfamiliar with you so that he can help you make sure that you get the best properties that fit what you're looking for. So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you.